Welcome to the Game Disc, where every week we wrap up all the biggest gaming news from last week and tell you what to expect this week. I'm your host, Simon Esty, and I'm joined by
Noah Esty.
And it's almost summer for the game industry, which means we're getting a lot of one thing, leaks for games that we're going to be seeing this summer. Also, Neil Druckmann said some things, but then maybe actually didn't say them. Then we'll be ranking the top 10 characters in Super Smash Bros. We will get to all of that. But first, Noah, how are you doing today?
Well, I got sick again this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm really tired, but apparently there's a leak for Venom: The Last Dance, which is the plot involves Venom trying to kill a 10-year-old Peter Parker.
Is that real?
Yeah. It's a rumor / leak.
So it's Venom 3: The Last Dance?
Yeah, and it's
Jesus.
Venom is trying to kill a 10-year-old Peter Parker in an effort to avoid suffering the same fate as many of his multiversal variants, death at the hands of Spider-Man.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Which
Dang.
you, correct me if I'm wrong, you've seen every Sonyverse movie, correct?
No, I haven't seen Venom 2. I haven't seen Let There Be Carnage.
When do you plan on seeing that?
Never. I don't think you realized when you just said you've seen all the Sonyverse movies, and I had to think, something broke in me. I died a little inside because for a second I was like, "Oh my God, he's right. How did I let this happen?"
Yeah, I think you might as well. We're coming to the end of them, I'm sure. I think you might as well. You should watch Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and then you should go see what's his face in theaters, Kraven the Hunter.
No, I really I don't want to. Those movies are. You're right. I've seen 3 out of 4 of them, and all of them have been so bad.
Which, by the way, so Simon, you are not a fan of the movie The Room, correct?
No, I get it. Like, I don't.
So, for those of you who don't know, The Room, widely considered.
I think most people know what The Room is now.
Yeah, but might as well. I know, I've met people that don't. It's widely considered the worst film of all time, and it's considered the best, so bad it's good film. Simon does not like that movie, but he told me, "Hey, you gotta watch Madam Web. It's great."
Whoa!
You said you liked Madam Web.
I did. No.
Yeah, because you were like,
I did not.
I said, so surprised.
I said no. That is not what I said.
What did you say? What did you say?
I did not say that. I said it's fine. The second half is pretty good. The first half is just as boring as all the other Sonyverse movies. And when I say the second half of Madam Web is good, I mean the second half of Madam Web is so bad it's good. But you do have to sit through a large chunk of just a generic, boring Sony movie that I don't think is any worse than Morbius or Venom, which means it's just boring. I would never... Our sister may have told you it's great.
Yeah. You said the last 30 minutes are pretty funny.
The last 30 minutes are great. I will say the last 30 minutes are good, but that first hour and a half
tough to
sit through. It's tough to sit through, and I don't know if the last 30 minutes makes up for the first 3/4. But your mileage will vary if you get a kick out of, like, our sister thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. So if your mileage will vary.
So do you think they should release he was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders just before she died cut?
Sure. More of that movie.
Do you know what that means?
No.
So in the trailer, there's a line that was, he was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders just before she died. And people were so excited to see it in the movie, and it was not in there. So people are like, I want to see the version where that line is still in the film.
I mean, I guess, like, there's enough bad lines in that movie that I think that if you went in and you really wanted to see that one line, like, there's enough bullshit in there that I think you'd be fine. I don't think we need an extended cut.
What's the other line? Oh yeah, it's once you accept great responsibility, you will be given great power.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll leave you with this tidbit. The villain's
Yeah.
master plan hinges on picking up a woman at an opera house. So that's kind of what
Yeah.
you need to. And when I say picking up, I mean like taking home for the night, like not like physically lifting up a
No,
woman. Like
and no, I mean the kidnapping. That's what Madam Web does, right? Isn't she the one that kidnaps people in the movie?
no, she doesn't.
No, I thought
It's
she kidnapped like the three main
no,
girls,
no, she
essentially.
no, she doesn't. They
Mm-hmm.
they go with her because they're being killed. I'm not talking about Madam Web anymore. I've already watched it for 2 hours. It's dumb. I We've got more important things to talk about. But
I disagree. I
you haven't
mean,
even
Madam
seen the
Web.
movie.
I'll watch it tonight, and then I'll give my full. Next week, I'll do a full Madam Web review.
Oh, no, no, you're not. Not on my watch.
Yeah, and then our topic can be top 10 video games that Madam Web should appear in. Number 10, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
That's a good segue. So I think we're gonna maybe be moving away from the top 100 games of all time. Uh, I I don't know. I don't think that it's as fun. I had a lot more fun doing like the most iconic video game characters that we did last episode. So I think that going forward, we will be kind of just trying to do more
Yeah.
lists and things.
And
So
nobody watched it, by the way, so we're like, hey, you know what? Let's see what happens with this.
yeah, so we're just giving it another shot. We're gonna see what's going on if you'll recall, the wheel did spit GameCube. So we were originally going to be talking about Melee, but then we're like, yeah, you know what? Let's just do a list instead. So going forward, I think we will try to do lists. That's why this episode is going to be the top Smash Bros. Characters, because we were originally considering doing Melee. And I'm sorry that I completely bungled that intro. Every other word, my mouth like tripped over itself, and I was like, oh god, this is coming off awful, but whatever, it's done.
I was reading the plot synopsis for Venom: The Last Dance, so I honestly did not notice.
It was bad. Hopefully the music overpowered it. But as I said in the intro, we're coming up on summer, which means we've got a lot of publishers getting ready to tell us what we're going to be playing over the next 10 years. So that means we're getting a lot of rumors as well. Some of the rumors that I think are kind of the most interesting, or at least the ones I'm most interested about,
Venom: The Last Dance.
We're getting Doom: The Dark Ages. This rumor was coming from Jez Corden, who's pretty reliable. This is going to be a medieval take on Doom. Expect to see this at Xbox's showcase. We are also getting a new Astrobot. This is coming from Bill Kuhn, who I don't know how reliable they are, but I think they're pretty reliable. And this will be announced, he said, in the next 15 days, and that was like a week ago. So probably at whatever Sony's kind of next event is, which should also be coming up soon. And then finally, Persona 6, which was leaked by Midori. Supposedly, it's going to have dual protagonists, and it's going to have like a yin and yang kind of theme, and the color is green. This one, I don't know if this one really has like a date where we can really expect its announcement. I don't know if we'll be seeing this anytime soon. I think for Atlas, all hands are going to be on deck for Metaphor ReFantazio. Then maybe once that comes out, then we'll start seeing Persona 6 stuff. But it's totally possible that given kind of the relationship between Sega and Microsoft at their past couple of events, we do see that announced at the Microsoft showcase as well.
Yeah, and there also is another rumor I was hearing about. I don't know how reliable it is, but Capcom is working on 2 new Resident Evil games. One of them is Resident Evil 8, I believe, right?
No, it'd be 9. Village is 8.
Okay, my bad. So one of them is Resident Evil 9, which will be an open world starring Leon, and then the other one is a remake of Resident Evil 1 that will essentially focus on less enemies, but they will be a lot stronger. And something, according to this rumor, that I thought was interesting is because 1 had so few zombies, all of the zombies will have a unique model.
Oh, that'd be cool. Do you know who the leaker is?
I do not. I know I just found a couple like news sources talking about it, but
Okay.
I didn't know who exactly the specific leaker was.
It may have been Dusk Golem. He's kind of been a Resident Evil guy who's leaked a
Okay.
decent amount. A lot of people say he's not very reliable, but I feel like his Resident Evil stuff is pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally, that's probably honestly of these, I would probably be like a new Astrobot is number one, Resident
Hmm.
Evil 1 remake, Resident Evil 9, Persona 6 Doom.
Yeah. Something about Doom does. So I don't know. Something about Doom makes me think that sounds right. Like, of course, like you're definitely going to have like a crossbow, and then you'll still have like the demonic type of weapons. So something about Doom, like there have been first-person
Oh no,
shooters in that.
I meant like in terms of what I'm most excited for.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
No,
Um.
I think all of these are true.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think so as well. Um. Yeah, I'm curious for what Astrobot will be like because Astrobot's historically been like, well, it was
A tech
first the
demo.
VR game. Yeah, it's always
It's
been a
always been a
tech
tech
demo,
demo. Yeah.
and it seems like the PSVR 2 is failing. So I don't know if it would be Astrobot Rescue Mission 2, but yeah, I'm
I,
curious about what they're gonna do with Astrobot.
I am too.
Yeah,
The other thing we've seen leaked a little bit is that Valve has a new game coming out. It's going to be a MOBA titled
is it Half
Deadlock.
Life 3?
No, it's a MOBA titled Deadlock, which
Oh.
is cool for people who like MOBAs. I'm not a huge fan of them, so I'll probably
Or
sit this
fans
one
of
out.
games called Deadlock?
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's good. It's always exciting when Valve makes a new game. I'm sure it'll be very good. I just don't really care about MOBAs, and I feel like the MOBA market, like if you're into MOBAs, you've already got whichever one you're playing. So I'm curious how well this will do.
I mean, keep in mind, Valve.
No, I mean it is, yeah, and that's why I'm curious because it's like the only way people are going to pick this up is by pulling from other MOBAs. I mean, maybe there'll be some just Valve fans who pick it up,
I
but
think that's what
I
it's gonna
really have
be.
no idea. Huh?
I think that's what it's going to be. I think a lot of people are gonna give it a try just because it's Valve, and Valve has a very good track record with games. So if it's fun, people
Yeah,
will get into it. Like, I mean, Valve has such a hold on the PC market that there are people who refuse to buy a game if it's not on Steam. This game is going to be like the game on Steam when it's released. So, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I definitely think that they, yeah, I definitely think it's going to do well. I don't know if it'll match League of Legends or so, but it's definitely going to do very well.
yeah. I think it will too, and good for them. Hopefully,
Hmm.
they're reminded that they can make pretty good games and we start
Yeah.
seeing more of them. But I think you're right. I think whenever Deadlocked is officially announced and released, it will be huge. And
Hmm.
another game that is going to be huge when it releases is Naughty Dog's next game, which Neil Druckmann said their next game could redefine mainstream perception of gaming. This is a quote that was provided by Sony itself on its website. But then it turns out maybe Druckmann didn't actually say this. He then posted a tweet saying that he didn't say that, and he released a transcript / video of the interview showing his full statements, which give a very different theme to his quote. This was according to an article by Kotaku.
Hmm.
But I read the whole quote, which is very, very, very long, and I'm not
Hmm.
surprised Sony didn't publish the whole thing. And he kind of ended up talking about mainstream perceptions of gaming, which is what he said he didn't talk about. So I think the issue was he was talking about kind of their next game and how excited he was. And then he also talked about how he was glad that he was seeing like The Last of Us and Fallout bringing video game IP to a new audience, kind of
Hmm.
showing people, hey, video games aren't for kids anymore.
Hmm.
So I could see how those wires did get a little crossed, but at the end of the day, people were kind of roasting him for what he was saying. And I think that you can still kind of roast him. He did
Yeah.
provide the quote and it clarifies what he said, but he was still kind of talking about like, oh yeah, people know video games aren't for kids anymore. And it's like, that's not because of the Last of Us show. That was kind of going before that. And as far as like, and he also kind of talked a little bit about like bringing a new audience to video games because of the TV shows. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really true.
No.
Like
I
I'd
mean,
be willing to bet like if you play video games and you somehow passed on The Last of Us and you watch the show, you'd go pick up the game. But like our sister loved The Last of Us. I don't think she's like chomping at the bit to play through The
Yeah.
Last of Us 2.
She has a PS5, and I don't think she's ever played it.
Does she have a PS? I know she has a PS4. Does she have a 5?
Oh, I thought they had a 5. Maybe not though.
I don't think they do. I think they only have a 4. And
Okay, gotcha.
I think that her husband actually did play through Last of Us. I don't think she did though. And I don't think that he played through Last of Us 2.
No. I don't think so as well, but yeah, I mean,
which just proves our point.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things, and I think that it's because to a lot of people that's good enough. I mean, we talked about how last time we talked about how our dad apparently really loved the Fallout show, and I was like, "Oh, well, if you want like to try out the game, Simon can probably like get you one." He's like, "Nah, I'm good." So it's like there may be more eyes on this product now, but and it will of course result in more sales because the more eyes, the more potential buyers, but there's going to be a lot of people that are like, "Nah, I'm good. I just want to watch the movie or the show."
Yeah, and I think you're right. It will increase sales. I mean, I think Fallout 3 or 4, I think a couple of the Fallouts pretty like shot up pretty high on Steam.
I'd be willing to guess like New Vegas and 4.
Yeah, I think like around the time the show was airing, they got a nice bump. But again, I don't think that those are coming from people who like are like, "Oh, I loved Fallout so much, I went and picked up a computer and now I'm playing Fallout on my PC." But and yeah, our dad's extent was he called me and he was like, "I really like this show. And I was like, "Oh, it's based on a video game." He's like, "Yeah, I knew that. Who makes it?" And I was like, "Technically Microsoft." And he said, "That's cool." And that was the discussion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I re-downloaded Fallout 4 recently, and but that was a game free on PS Plus, so I didn't buy it. And
yeah, but I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, and even then, I played it a bit, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to like a Dragon 7.
Yeah, and I think that, and granted, like if I mean, I never played 4, and I haven't really watched the Fallout show yet. I guess I've seen like 4 episodes or so.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that kind of wants to jump in, and I could see myself buying Fallout 4, like because it's probably only like $10.
Yeah.
Or like you said, it's free, and so I could see like people who like if they came out with an Elder Scrolls show and somehow somebody didn't buy Skyrim one of the 30 times it came out, I could see them being like, "Oh, this is a good excuse to go back to Fallout." I feel like it's not so much that like it brings new people into gaming, it gives gamers a second chance to get into games that they may have passed when they first came out.
Time to begin my 9th playthrough of New Vegas.
Yeah, seriously. But was there anything else you kind of wanted to talk about for what Neil Druckmann is ranting about?
More like Neil Cuckman. All right, I'm done.
Oh, good. I'm glad that we got to end off that. No matter what, I'm sure that whatever Naughty Dog's next game will sell very well, which we can't say the same for Square Enix, who had a very bad first quarter of the year. So this is actually from 2 weeks ago. A couple of notes from their investor call. Digital entertainment, which includes video games, rose 2.6%, but overall profits fell 15.8%. Which is kind of a lot. Company saw an operating loss of 8.1 billion yen, roughly 51.9 million in HD games, including Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and Foam Stars. I'm going to put a lot of that blame on Foam Stars. But it wouldn't be a Square Enix news without a ridiculous name. And so in this same investor call, the company has announced its 3-year plan to get back on track, titled Square Enix Reboot and Awaken. This includes a shift to a multi-platform strategy, including, and they specified, in quotes, Nintendo platforms, implying not just the Nintendo Switch. So a couple of interesting things about this. It seems like those exclusive deals they were signing with PlayStation weren't really working out for them, huh?
No. And here's the thing. Do you want to know the biggest reason why Square Enix isn't doing well these days, Simon?
Why?
Just do me a favor. Go on to Square Enix Cafe's website. Just do it.
I don't know if I can get on.
Why not?
But I'll try it. Well, isn't it? It's probably like a Japanese site. Square.
Yeah, but it's just
Enix.
type in Square Enix
Cafe web site.
Yep.
Okay, I mean it's all in Japanese.
Did you
It
click the
just
Tokyo
says
one?
it says Square Enix Tokyo.
Yep, click it.
It's loading. It's
Okay.
taking a
Yep.
while. I see what looks like, I'm gonna guess, like Idolmaster.
Yeah, so
Is that
uh
Idolmaster?
School Idol Festival is celebrating its 10th anniversary.
Okay, so it's
So,
Idolmaster.
not Idol, but it's not Idol Master, it's School Idol Festival, Simon.
Oh, were they doing a
So,
Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster one?
probably,
That's
but
cool.
I think this is the thing, like, if you, for the past, like, couple of years, if you go on to the Square Enix Cafe's website, and you type in, and, like, you just see, oh, what game are they doing? There is a very good chance it's going to be some random game that you either never heard of before, or you've heard of, but it's just like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. Which, yeah, and so that's the reason why Square Enix isn't doing so hot. They just have so many games coming out, and it's
Yeah.
just not. A lot of them are just not that. They don't sell super well. Well, is
And they
that?
did kind of talk about that, I think, last, like, at the end of the year, how they were going to
Yeah,
like kind of diversify their portfolio and basically stop the fire hose of new
yeah.
releases. And I think that's part of it. I think they were just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck. But I feel like their bigger problem is that I really think that if there was a company who should not have done those exclusive deals, it was Square Enix.
Yeah.
It's funny that we're kind of looking at, like, I feel like Sega and Square Enix are like similar companies in that they're both like these long running Japanese publishers with a ton of IP that people love. And it's funny that Sega's doing so well. Same with Capcom. Capcom and Sega are doing
Well,
so well, and Square Enix
I
just
feel
can't
like
figure it out.
Capcom's different, and I'll explain why later.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think Capcom is different. I think
Yeah.
Capcom's IP reach a little bit wider audience
Yeah.
than
Well, that's
Sega
what.
and
Let's
Square Enix.
well, let's be honest. Sega's only being kept afloat by Like a Dragon. There's
And
they
Persona.
Sonic. Oh yeah, I forgot about Atlas. My bad. Okay, my bad. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
think Atlas stuff is doing pretty good. Even like
Okay, yeah,
I think even like their Monkey Balls are doing pretty well. I
yeah.
think that Sega has
Well,
a
that's what
you're
I was
but
gonna
I
say.
think you're right.
I was gonna say, like, Sonic is kind of helping, but the Like a Dragon games are the real big money makers. But I completely forgot about Atlas. My
But
bad.
I think that that's kind of my point. Like,
Yeah.
and what Sega is doing that's really smart is they're basically taking Microsoft money to like fund their games and just doing like the marketing stuff for Xbox, but then their games still come out on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like and I think that part of it is Square Enix is in a little bit different position. I think that their games would do a lot better if they came out on PC. Obviously, I don't know how well they do if it was just consoles, if it was just Xbox and PlayStation. But I also think what's really hurting them is Square Enix games are still like Japanese games. And like the Japanese video game market has kind of been shrinking, with the exception of like the Switch. And you're never going to be able to get a mainline Final Fantasy on the Switch.
Yeah.
And so I think that they're kind of in like a tough place anyway, made worse by the fact that, well, we're just going to completely ignore the PC because that is the other segment of Japanese like gamers that are growing. So I think that those exclusive deals really hurt them. And instead of focusing on what they could do, i.e. PC and PlayStation, they were kind of like, well, we'll just double down, and it didn't work, which sucks because I actually think, with the exception of Foam Stars, Square Enix has been putting out some really good games.
Yeah, definitely. Which, by the way, going back to Like a Dragon, so something pretty interesting about that game series is that they pretty much were like, yeah, this game is for a Japanese audience, but if Westerners like it, that's cool. And yeah, just kind of playing it and living in Japan a bit more, I kind of get why that's the deal. Like, the big thing about Like a Dragon 7 is the job system, and like a major storyline is your characters are all unemployed. And so some like there's one of the the reoccurring like places that you go to is called Hello Work, which is like an unemployment office slash business. Like that's a real one in Japan.
Oh, that's kind of
So
funny.
yeah, so like it'd be kind of like a racing game where you go to like Les Schwab like all the time. You go to like this thing and yeah, so that's one of like the jokes, which yeah, I kind of get why. Like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's why it's for a Japanese audience mostly. Which yeah, that's something I was kind of like because I was like, oh, that's funny. I assumed like previously that it was just like a thing made for the game, but it's like no, that's an actual business. That's like a big thing in Japan.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, best of luck to Square Enix. I hope they turn around. Like I said, I'm playing through Rebirth, and God, that's such a good game, and it sucks that we'll probably never get a game like it.
Well, I'm sure that because of the low sales, the people will lose their jobs, as is the trend in the video game industry. But I mean, fortunately, they can go to Hello Work and maybe find something else.
Yeah, hopefully they can. Or if they really want to, they can go to Dan Houser's new studio, who is creating a sci-fi universe.
Oh, he's my favorite wrestler. I'm thinking of
Dan Houser.
Yeah. I was thinking of
Dan Houser is the creator of GTA. He started a new studio called A Better Paradise, or the game is called A Better Paradise, or the universe is called A Better Paradise. His new studio, Absurd Ventures, also announced an audio drama that will release on June 12th that will have 12 episodes. He has also said other projects in this universe will include multiple seasons of audio dramas, a video game, and television shows. The project is set in the near future about a digital project with highly advanced AI. God, I did not proofread these notes at all. With highly advanced AI that was abandoned, but now it seems like those AI have reawakened. That is not what I would expect the creator of GTA to be working on next, but good for him, I guess. Are you going to listen to the Dan Houser sci-fi podcast?
So it's a podcast, right? Not a game.
So they're working on a game set in the same universe, but the podcast set in the same universe airs in like 2 weeks.
Okay,
June 12th.
Man, this is starting to sound a lot like Advent Rising.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, so this is this big sci-fi game that is going to be like, we're gonna have all these cross promotions on it. I'm pretty sure Advent Rising. Oh, so it had a comic book. It had, it's just really reminding me of Advent Rising. Tommy Tallarico worked on the game. Like, I'm pretty sure he's actually it was one of the few things he actually worked on. So let's see if Tommy Tallarico works for this new game as well.
Did you see that? Speaking of Tommy Tallarico, did you see that Atari bought the television, like the rights to the Intellivision?
I did not.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I thought about putting it in the notes, and I was like, nobody's going to care about that because I think most.
I think people will care about that. People love Tommy Tallarico. He's become like a meme, even outside of gaming.
I'll draft up notes and we'll talk about it next week.
I think, the sign of being a really big YouTuber, when it's you can make a video about a topic and then just the YouTube community kind of is able to turn it into a meme.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I think it also just lends itself because Tommy Tallarico is pretty memeable anyway. He's just most of the stuff he said
the spotlight on him.
No, you're right. You're right. I think that's why it works so well. What's his face?
H Bomber guy.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't have to do anything. He just had to say, look at this idiot over here, and everybody else ran with it. But back to Dan Houser. I don't know. I like the idea of a giant sci-fi universe. I honestly, thinking about it now, I think that's why I got into Star Wars so hard, because I like the idea of just this universe where things are constantly happening. So I'll probably listen to the audio drama. I walk a dog for an hour and a half every day, so I can listen to that pretty easily. And then if I get invested in the world, it's just something cool when the game comes out. And I'm sure, all the GTAs have been pretty good. I'm sure the game itself will be very good.
Yeah, which, speaking of Star Wars, by the way, Jenny Nicholson, she made a video that I'm pretty sure the video is 2 to 4 hours long video. But you remember that Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser hotel?
Yes.
Yeah, she went on it. And so the video is like about all of the backstory behind it, her going on it and her experience, and like her takeaways of like why it failed, how it could have been improved, and like what she assumes they're going to use that space for in the future. So
Oh,
it's a
that's
pretty
kind of
good
cool.
video. Yeah,
I
it was a
actually,
really good video.
I might check that out because I am kind of curious about that. The Canon
Yeah,
Hotel.
yeah, it
Uh,
was really interesting. And yeah, her theories is like what they should do is kind of turn it into a restaurant slash show. But yeah, she was like, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
yeah, that is like I said, I'm kind of curious about that because it seemed like a cool hotel.
Yeah,
All right,
it was
so
very flawed.
yes, I'm sure it was, or else I would have done better.
Yep.
So that's all the news we've got. So I'll get us into our feel good story of the week. Noah, I'll do this one because I did it, like
Yeah.
I found it, and then
Yeah.
next
This
week we'll
was
go back to normal.
yeah. So usually I find the feel good stories, but you of course found it this week. So go ahead, take it away.
And it kind of pertains to me. So this is actually from a while ago, but it was like a Reddit thread was posted about it like last week or 2 weeks ago, which is why I
Hmm.
added it. But a class action lawsuit was filed against Valnet last February, and it was actually filed on my birthday, which I guess I just gave my birthday out to everybody if they wanted to go look it up. It was posted on the freelance writer subreddit. For those who don't know, Valnet owns Screen Rant, Game Rant, and Comic Book Resources. I wrote for Comic Book Resources for a while.
Yeah,
And
how'd that go?
well, the suit alleges that Valnet mischaracterized its workers as independent contractors despite the fact that they were not given the usual freedom contractors are provided. Valnet required specific practices to ensure attraction to each post, and Valnet retained all rights to that content. So basically, what this means is that if you're an independent contractor,
Mhm.
you get to choose how the work is done.
Yeah.
But Valnet, by requiring like specific headlines and which posts were allowed, basically saying, well, that's not what contractors are. The fact
Yeah.
that you were telling them these things means that they were employees, not contractors.
Mhm.
But they wanted to say that they were contractors because that way they could avoid paying minimum wage, which
Mhm.
is true. I would
Yep.
write a article that would take me several hours and get paid $10.
Mhm.
They also did not offer rest breaks, compensation for use of personal devices, or overtime pay. And so anybody can reach out and take part in this lawsuit if you worked for any Valnet site within the last 4 years. So yeah, all of that to say, cool. I mean, yeah, they were very clearly like just abusing people who wanted
Yeah.
to write about video games and comics, and I'm sure the people at the top were making a lot of money. They have done layoffs,
Mhm.
so I think that this kind of company is on its way out the door anyways. This might be the nail
Yeah.
in the coffin, but
So
hopefully those sites can come back under like new management and treat people better and kind of be more than just clickbaity headlines, which is what they've turned into.
yeah, so you said you wrote for them a bit. Do you mind kind of going through some of your experience writing for them, or would you kind of prefer not to?
Yeah, I won't talk too much about it. I don't really regret that I did it, um, but it was definitely like content farmy. It was
Hmm.
very much like you need to write about like Pokemon, Persona, Last of Us, and basically like just really really popular games, and anything that wasn't one of those was probably not going to get approved
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it was just all about
Well,
clicks.
I don't know if somebody would get in trouble for like telling about it, but you actually had a story that you really wanted to write for, and you thought would have been a really good idea, but they essentially shut it down. Correct?
Uh, yeah, I think that was yeah. So that was kind of the nail in the coffin. My sister worked for a company. I won't say which company, but she was able to get me and my fiance and her husband into a preview event for Super Mario World in Hollywood. So I got
This
to
was
go to
before it was open to the public. Correct?
yes, this was
Okay.
like I think it was a week or two before it opened, and it was a really small group because you had to be like part of like this community. So it was full. There was lines, but it was, I guarantee, if you were to go to Super Mario World or Super Nintendo World any day since then, it would be 2 to 3 times as busy as what we got to go. I was able to
Hmm.
do pretty much everything there. We were able to try the food. We were able to go on the rides.
Hmm.
Um, and I pitched an article like, hey, I got to go to this preview event. Do you want me to write about this experience? And they said, no, that's really niche. And I said, okay.
Well,
And at that, I was kind of like at a loss. I was like, I don't know really what to do with this
well,
information. If Super Nintendo World is not something that will get clicks, I truly do not know what to do. So,
well, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they also say like, yeah, unless there's like a cool Easter egg or something there, then yeah, you can write about it.
yeah, they did they did say that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, there are Pikmin there if you find them, but I wasn't going to write an article about the Pikmin. So that was kind of why I stopped.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. I have a full-time job, and when I'm writing, I want to write about things I want to write about, and I didn't really like the stuff I was writing about there, so I went on to other places that I can write what I want to write, and I think that honestly, my writing at the other sites are better. So yeah, again, good for everybody filing this. I hope that I mean, there were people like, I only wrote like 10 articles. There were people who wrote like hundreds, and I'm like, God dang, you probably worked like 80 hours a week, and you got paid like nothing. So
Yeah.
I hope those people get a nice bit of money, but I wouldn't be surprised if this goes through a film. It's just like, we're declaring bankruptcy. Nobody's getting money from us. So we'll see. But yeah, that's our feel good story of the week. I guess that's, I don't know if this, well, it's close enough. People are hopefully getting what they deserve. So
Yeah. I mean, it's the pursuit of justice is always going to feel good. The what's it called? The lack of justice will always feel bad, but people trying to pursue it's always good.
yeah. All right. So that being said, coming up this week, I probably should have talked about this during the rumor section, but I didn't. But there have been rumors all month that Sony is going to have some kind of event in May. Previously, people were talking about it being a showcase. However, every showcase was announced a week before it aired, and since we are now in the last week of May, most people are thinking if a Sony event does happen this week, it will be a state of play, which are generally smaller. But yeah, so hopefully this week we do see a state of play. If not, oh well. This is where I think we might see that Astrobot. Maybe we'll see the Resident Evil, one of the Resident Evil games. Since we just got a remake, I'm guessing 9 would be the next one. We'd probably see that before 1. But do you think a PlayStation event is happening this week? And if so, what do you want to see?
I don't know. I feel like it's not really I don't feel like it'll happen. Especially because Summer Game Fest is like close, so I feel like a lot of companies might want to save some of their like announces for that. I could see maybe something, but outside of Astro, I don't really know what they would announce. Like, I feel like Capcom, either they probably are going to wait until Summer Game Fest as well to announce.
I don't think so.
Evil.
Capcom always shows their stuff off at Sony stuff. Like
Simon,
every Resident Evil.
They had their latest giant announcement was at the Game Awards, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah, but every Resident Evil has been Sony stuff.
I don't know. I feel like I'll have to double check, but I feel like Resident Evil's like it's a big money maker for them. I feel like they would do it at Summer Game Fest.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Every Resident Evil has been announced at a PlayStation event.
Oh, okay. Well,
like I'm pretty sure. I don't know about Biohazard, but Village and 4 definitely were.
I don't know. I feel
and
like
you know what else? You know what else was announced at a Sony event?
What?
Moon Man.
Which one? Oh, but that was a state of play, right?
It was a showcase. A
showcase. Yeah, and showcases are different.
And wasn't Street Fighter 6 also?
I feel like that may have been. I can't, but I feel like that's the thing though. This is a state of play, not a showcase. State of play is like the only Capcom thing I really remember at a state of play was Exoprimal. But even then, that was like that's kind of a Capcom like B tier game, not an A tier game.
Yeah, I mean you might be right.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm trying to.
I feel like Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
no,
you're right.
straight. Yeah, on June 2nd, a gameplay trailer was shown at PlayStation State of Play.
Wait, was it a gameplay trailer or the announcement trailer?
A gameplay trailer,
Oh, okay,
or
that makes sense.
no, but that was the announcement.
But was it a gameplay trailer or the announcement trailer? Because there was an announcement trailer and then there was a gameplay trailer. The
It,
announcement
the
trailer was a
announcement,
teaser.
the announcement trailer had both.
No, it didn't. The announcement trailer was
Oh,
Ryu
on
and Luke
February.
squaring up.
Okay. No, you're right. On February 21st, 2022, Street Fighter 6 was announced.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
Uh,
sense. So yeah, so it was a gameplay trailer. Which to be
yeah,
fair, that is still a big deal. But
yeah.
yeah, maybe a
I,
little.
I,
But
yeah. I just think Capcom has a good relationship with I think Monster Hunter Wilds. First of all, I think the Game Awards is much bigger than Summer Game Fest.
yeah, there.
Maybe that'll be different this year now that there's no E3. But
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. I just feel like Capcom still likes having that relationship with Sony, and Sony knows that Capcom things are big, and so they
Mhm.
like every State of Play starts with Resident Evil whatever. And I kind of
That's
feel like if
fair.
we see Resident Evil 9, I wouldn't be surprised. But you might be right. Maybe Capcom's like, hey, no, we're gonna go with Summer Game Fest now because it's
Yeah.
just bigger now.
Yeah.
All right. We've got conventions coming up this week. On May 31st to June 2nd, we've got DreamHack Dallas in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. Hope they have good security software, or at least they sleep tight.
Huh.
You know, because somebody could hack them or their dreams.
Yeah, I
Yep.
got what you were saying.
Okay.
Also, during those days, we've got Tremendicon in
What a
Springfield,
tremendous
Montana.
event!
Mm-hmm. On
That's a
June
good one.
1st, we've got CorgsCon in Columbus, Ohio.
Wait, is it like celebrating corks, like wine corks?
No, with a
Or
G.
oh, is it
Corgs, like
corks?
corgi.
Oh, like oh, that's cute. So it's like a little puppy convention.
I mean, I
Oh,
guarantee it's not, but also on June
corgi
1st, we
con.
have Illinois Game Con in Bloomington, Illinois.
No joke, I can say like I can match that. It's in Illinois.
And then we have the Leeds Anime and Gaming Convention in Leeds, UK. Also,
Oh, the main
June
event,
1st to
aka
2nd.
that's why this is leading the pack because it's in Leeds.
It's not. It's literally the last one.
Well, I mean, you can lead the pack by like being the main event.
The
Yeah, yeah,
closer.
you're
It's
like
the
the
closer.
leaders.
It's the closer. It's the title
Yeah,
card.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like if you for fight, the people biggest on the fight card are the main event.
No,
So
that
yeah,
makes,
so that's what this is. They're
that makes
leading the
sense.
competition in Leeds, Oregon.
UK.
Damn it, that makes sense. Yep.
All right, and then games this week. We've got the Rogue Prince of Persia PC Early Access May 27th. Also on May 27th, we've got Ultimate Godspeed on PC. On May 28th, we have Cupid Parasite Sweet and Spicy Darling for the Switch. Also on May 28th, we have Multiversus coming out for everything. This is the relaunched Multiversus with big boy Jason Voorhees.
I'm sure I can still not play it.
Did you see Jason Voorhees in this game?
Yeah. Did you watch his gameplay trailer?
No, I just saw the picture of him and was terrified. He's a big old boy.
So his gameplay trailer, like watching his playstyle actually looks really fun. All of his moves are like based off of kills from the Friday the 13th series. So like he has a grab where he like puts them in a sleeping bag and then like smashes them around. I was like, that's the kind of characters I want in multiverses. When they first announced the game, I was like, this is kind of who I think they should have. And you were surprised that Jason was in the game, right? You didn't think they were going to use him or like any horror icon. Yeah, and so when they put him in the game, I was like, that's who I want, and I want to see more characters that are just iconic to be in the game, and less, hey, we have a new movie coming out, let's put them in the game.
Yeah. I was surprised. But I think that the people making this, they clearly really care about these IPs, so I'm not surprised that they put a lot of effort into Jason. But I just think it's hilarious that we now have a game where Jason can kill Big Chungus.
Yeah. Well, this is the second fighting game with Jason Voorhees, by the way.
and it's
First
the
was Mortal
5th with Big
Kombat.
Chungus.
Yep. Wait, it's the 5th fighting game with Big
I'm
Chungus?
kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I don't think there's any other game with Big Chungus. Also on
no,
May
there's
20th.
that Looney Tunes game, that Looney
But is
Tunes
that
mobile
fighting?
game that has big. It's not a fighting game, but it's a Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
At least he's as
no, I was thinking that, but I
prior
don't think
video
there's
game.
another. I don't think there's another
No.
fighting game. Also on May 28th, we've got Old World on PC and Ruse 2 on PC. And then finally on May 30th, we've got Astor, Blade of the Monolith, Scald Against the Black Priory, and Tiny Terra's Turbo Trip, all for PC. Picking up anything this week?
No. Hopefully not another cold.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's my plan every week, but some weeks are more successful than others.
All right. Whoa, shoot. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. What about you?
Okay, I accidentally locked my computer. All right. That being said, are you ready to go into our topic this week?
I mean, I kind of want to go poop, but, like, you know.
Are you okay? Do you actually want to, or are you just making a dumb joke?
I think that we will find out in 5 minutes if you check my pants.
Okay, do you want me to... should I pause it?
Yeah, let's pause the podcast.
And we're back. You actually did have to go to the bathroom, so we took a break.
Yep, I'm slightly dehydrated now.
You could have kept that to yourself. All right. With that being said, Noah, we're going to talk about the top 10 characters in Super Smash Brothers. This is any Super Smash Brothers. And Noah, when I said, hey, do you want to do this for a topic? You said, well, what do you mean by best? I don't really know which ones are like high tier or not. And I said, well, I don't mean that. I just mean like the best. Like you just look at it and you're like, yeah, that one's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll lead us off. I'm going to pick Solid Snake. I think he is. So the way we're going to do this is Noah and I will kind of just throw out names. We'll make a little list. And then when we think we've covered everybody who has a decent shot of getting on the list, then we will kind of put them in order and cut people. And that's how we're going to do it. So I think Solid Snake has a good shot of getting on the top 10 list. And honestly, I kind of said it as a joke, but I also think he does because he was kind of that first... He was the one who broke the Berlin Wall, and so we started getting third-party characters in Smash.
Yeah, so real quick, by the way, Big Boss was the one during the Cold War, so if anybody was the one breaking down the Berlin Wall, it was him, not Snake. He was, like, in the 90s after the Cold War, so, yeah.
Just meant it as a metaphor, but okay. All right, who do you think has a good shot at getting on?
I am going to say King DDD, because my favorite taunt in this game is not an actual taunt, but it's if you hold down with King DDD, he just immediately drops into, like, a lounging, lying down pose, and that is the greatest taunt in the game. So I'm going to put King DDD.
Okay. I'm going to say Joker. Just because his announcement, he was the first like DLC, and he was just kind of like, I think he showed that anybody could get in this game.
Yeah,
he was a really good pick to start off the list.
So he was the first DLC for
Ultimate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I feel like he kind of started that like trend of like, oh, like a Smash Bros DLC announcement is like an event.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Fox because, you know, I know we're not talking about high tiers, but come on, it's Fox.
It's Fox.
Yeah.
For the same reason, I'll put Meta Knight for just straight up breaking Brawl.
Well, shit. In that case, let's also then add Bayonetta on as well.
All right. But Bayonetta wasn't broken like
Yes, she
Meta
was.
Knight. Oh, was she? Was she banned also?
Maybe. So I don't think she was as broken as Meta Knight, but Bayonetta was so broken. A large reason people believe she wasn't banned was because they were like, you know what, Smash Ultimate's already been announced. Like, let's just we'll just deal with it then. But Bayonetta was very, very broken. It was to the point that I think at like Evo one year, it was a Bayonetta mirror match, and a lot of people just left.
Oh God. Well, yeah. Then I think Meta Knight has a better shot because
Yeah.
he tried to break a game that was not very good. My turn. All right. I think this will be my last like third party DLC type pick. Sora. I think that is like that was like a pie in the sky thing. I think kind of the stars had to align to get that character in the game, and the fact that they did kind of epitomizes what Smash Bros is all about.
Yeah. I'm gonna put Marth because in Melee, Marth had really good grab range. Plus, a lot of people didn't know if Marth was a boy or a girl, so that led to a lot of speculation. And yeah, so I'm gonna put Marth.
He was also the floodgates for 70% of Smash Bros. Roster.
Him and Roy too.
Yeah.
I remember that was the thing. It was like it's really funny how Marth is like the face of Fire Emblem because back then Fire Emblem wasn't a big deal in America, so everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Roy's the cool one."
Roy's the cool one, yeah. Because
Yeah,
he was just Marth, but
he had
wasn't.
he had a bandana and spiky hair.
Yeah, and fire swords.
Yeah, exactly. Roy was the cool one. Which it's
Yeah.
funny how now Roy is in like nothing besides Smash Bros.
Yeah, people are like Roy's kind of dumb. Who else do I want to say? Oh, I actually do like legitimately like this character. I think he's really cool. Pokemon trainer. I like a person. I don't know why. I always like just the design of the Pokemon trainer, Red or whatever. And the fact that you got to play as like Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. I think that's all really cool. So,
All right. Do they have to be a real character?
define that.
Could I put Tails from Melee? Because he was heavily rumored.
I'll put it on the list. I'm not like I thought that's who you might have been thinking about. I'll just put Sonic and Tails from Melee.
Yeah, just not Sonic from Brawl and onward. Sonic from Melee.
No, I put Sonic and Tails from Melee.
Specifically the Melee iteration.
Yeah, specifically the Melee characters. Who else? I've already got Snake. I'm trying to think of like who else is in this game. Looking at my amiibo. Kirby. The man is like he was the only character who didn't get dusted. And he's just OP.
Speaking of dusted, Master Hand.
Oh, that's actually not a bad one.
Which, by the way, he is actually a playable character. You can input a cheat in Melee and play as him.
Well, if we've got Sonic and Tails from Melee on the list anyway,
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna matter. I'm gonna say Toon Link. Only because I think he's incredibly impressive that they were somehow able to put 3 versions of Link in this game that all played differently.
Yep. And I'm going to put Ness because I feel like in the early days of Smash Bros, there was always like one character that was like, who is this person? And growing up, because we didn't have the SNES, for me that was Ness. And also, okay.
Yeah. This one I'm surprised neither of us got to. Captain Falcon.
That was going to be my last pick.
Oh, well,
that was going to be my last pick because I am going to fight heavily that he should be number 1. Yeah. You're thinking you're like, oh shit, he's right. It is going to be number 1.
He might be. But I think Falcon has a very good shot because he's a character who was created like.
Well, hold on. We'll make those arguments. It's obvious that.
Well,
he's like
I think that we need to say the reason why
right,
they're on, why we're even considering them. But I love that he was created from nothing. Like he's just a racing game, and they gave him not 1 but 2 iconic moves that are just unnecessarily cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna do Falco because that's the closest to Falcon that I can get.
Okay. I mean, there's so many. I'm gonna say I don't even know. I feel like there's more. Like I want to get some that actually are actually like good characters. Since a lot of these are kind of jokey, but I can't really. I don't know who else to pick at this point. Everybody's kind of just
You could
like
pick like Pitt or somebody random from like one game, and they're like, let's put him in Smash Bros.
yeah. I like Little Mac for that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that he kind of shows that. Or oh, actually no, I'm changing it. Mr. Game and Watch. I think that he is actually
Mhm.
like another really good example of like what kind of Smash is all about. Like because he is just very much based on that original kind of Game and Watch premise, and it shows kind of anybody could be in Smash.
Yeah, I am going to pick. I'll just go to pick Bowser
I was
because
thinking Bowser.
yeah, because I remember as a kid, there was like a little game store and they had Melee that like you could play for a bit. And when I saw Bowser, that was little me's version of like, wow, this game has everybody.
Yeah,
So it was like, of course, Bowser is a staple, but at the time, like, you really like I've never really played a game where it was like a boss like character was playable. So I was like, oh dang, like Bowser, he's the Mario bad guy.
yeah. Um, I think Byleth because that announcement showed us that Sakurai has the largest balls in the video game industry.
God, that was such an insane. Uh, I'm gonna put. Uh, oh man, I'm thinking about like who it is. I'm gonna put Ridley just because for years
Oh yeah,
everybody was like, "Oh, Ridley's too big to fit," but and they finally put him in.
yeah. All right, let's both do. How many more do you want to do? Two each, or are you getting, or do you want to just do
Sure,
like one more?
we'll just do one
Um,
more.
just one more.
Yep.
Um, I I'm gonna do Sheik.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, Sheik is actually like a legitimately pretty cool character, and the fact that they were like they did cool stuff where you could transform from Zelda and back, but then they made her own character, but also
Mhm.
they were kind of just able to create her move set, and then she was also broken in melee, wasn't she? It was
Uh,
like Fox and
I she
Sheik.
wasn't. No, it was Fox and Marth. I thought
Oh
so.
yeah.
I believe Sheik was high. Like
Oh, I
Sheik
have one
and
more.
Falcon were high tier, and Fox was broken, and Marth wasn't broken, but he was a very good Fox counter, so that's why so many people played him.
Got it.
Like, yeah, I think the thing about Marth was his grab range was just insane. Like, his grab was just insane.
Yeah. All right. I want to do one more after this.
Alright, speaking of, then I'm going to do everybody's favorite Smash Bros. Character. Anyone not from Fire Emblem.
Anyone not from Fire Emblem?
Yep,
Okay. Well,
that's my... Anybody who's not from Fire Emblem.
so I'm looking at the tier list for Melee just because I'm curious. You are right. It's so the top five is Fox, Marth, Jigglypuff, who is my next pick.
Mhm.
Um, that's just such a random character to pick, but I also think they're just legitimately really fun to play.
Yeah,
Falco is 4, and then Sheik is 5. So Sheik is decently high tier, but not. Oh, I
yeah.
just thought of another cool character, but oh well. All right. Are you all done?
Well, I get one more, right?
Yeah, but if you want to toss in anybody,
I mean, I'll pick Yoshi because something that's kind of cool about Yoshi is like he started off many people considered him like the worst character in the game, but there was a player that actually like started rising to prominence with Yoshi and it made a bunch of people actually like reevaluate his slot on the roster. So, yeah, that's just kind of a cool little thing. I'll pick Yoshi.
yeah, through hard work and
Oh, Ice
dedication.
Climbers, that's a good one. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
another
my
one that I was
my
like,
next pick
who
is
are
Ice
these people?
Climbers. Just again, not only do they do a good job of showing anybody could be in Smash, but it's also pretty fun to beat up Nana. And then you've just got like this like flaccid Popo. You want to do one
Yeah.
more pick, or are you good?
Yeah, I'll do Isabel.
No. Okay. I think
Right.
I think we're good. I think that
Yep.
this is enough for us to find some common. We could build 10 from here.
Yep.
So let's just kind of start of these who I honestly I kind of think well, let's just start moving them over. Do you want to just start getting rid of people?
Yeah, sure.
Um, who do you want to get? I actually, I think we should put Sonic and Tails from Melee at number 10.
That's what we got to. We have to put him somewhere on the roster.
Okay, I'll put him at 10 because I actually think that that's pretty good, and I think
Yeah.
that it's true because again, even before live streaming events, it just showed how big of a thing Smash Bros. Characters were. There
Yeah.
was always
Well,
this
it
like
was.
mystique around it. So
Yeah. Well, it was one of those. It was before. It was still when like the whole playground era of gaming was around, where it was
yeah,
like we had definitive proof. It was, oh, somebody on the playground said it, and then somebody posted an image online of it that was edited, and so
yeah.
it's like, oh, well, then it must be true.
But
Um,
I think they deserve a spot on the list because they are a good representation of the discussion around Smash Bros. Characters.
yes,
So
I agree. So yeah, I think number 10. That's a good number 10.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right. So who do you want to? I kind of want to get rid of Master Hand.
But he's the boss of Smash Bros.
Yeah, but he's not. I don't really consider him a like. I know he is a Smash Bros. Character, but it's not the
Well,
same.
let's get rid of Falco. Let's get rid of Falco first of all.
Okay. Um. I guess I'll get rid of Joker.
All right, then.
I don't see it. Can you make a case for Joker? Do you see a world
Nah,
where
not.
Joker gets on? I feel like Sora
Nah.
kind of accomplishes the same thing, but better.
Yeah.
Um, I think Snake is one I'm kind of saving. I think he's got a really good shot at getting on the list.
Yeah.
I don't
I'd say
know how I
let's.
feel about Bayonetta.
Yeah, let's get rid of Bayonetta. I felt like she was a big deal at the time, but not so much anymore.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of Jigglypuff?
Aww.
Well, I'm just.
I really don't want to. There's other characters I'd rather get rid of more.
How about Kirby? Kirby?
I feel like Kirby is actually like pretty important to Smash.
Okay, well, who's a character from your list you want to get rid of?
I can get rid of Byleth.
Okay. Yeah, anybody not from Fire Emblem accomplishes the same thing. By the way,
I should have put Byleth at number 1.
Which let's just. By the way, should we just get it out of the way? Put Captain Falcon at number 1.
No, because actually, looking at this list, I think there is a character who deserves to be up there above Falcon. That's why I didn't say anything.
Who?
I think Game & Watch.
I gotta go with Falcon over Game & Watch.
Why?
Falcon turned. So, like you said, they took a character from nothing and gave him all this stuff, and he became such a meme, such an icon. People consider Falcon like the Smash Bros. Character because his relevance is no longer from F-Zero. His relevance is from Smash Bros.
Yeah, and
There was
I
the
get that.
Falcon lunch T-shirt.
I get that. I just think that my reason for Game & Watch is because he is like literally like the first Nintendo character, and kind of for the same reason. I mean, he had more of a moveset, but the fact that they were able to incorporate these like incredibly basic like 8-bit designs into a fighting game is, I think, almost more impressive than Falcon, where they just made the shit up.
But I feel like the thing
we can get
like,
to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. I think both have a good case. I think that those are number 1 and 2.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I'll agree with that.
I'll get rid of Toon Link.
Okay.
I don't care. Can I get rid of Hand?
Get rid of Ridley.
See, I think Ridley. You want me to get rid of Ridley over Hand?
Master Hand is like the main antagonist. Fine, get rid of Hand too. Get rid of Riley and Hand.
Should I get rid of anybody not from Fire Emblem?
No, fuck
We
no.
already have Sonic and Tails from Melee as a joke one.
Yeah, exactly. And anybody not from Fire Emblem is not a joke.
There's not a world where anybody not from Fire Emblem is getting on the list.
Well, it sucks for you because we both say number 1 and 2 will be Falcon and Gamer Watch, and neither one is from Fire Emblem. So not a boo boo. Go stick your head in doo doo.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of that. I'll keep Hand on. I'll get rid of Hand, or I'll keep Hand. We can keep Hand.
No, get rid of Hand too. Let's just get rid of Hand. I want no. All right, get rid of Hand.
Okay. Okay, so how many more do we have?
So yeah, get rid of Solid Snake while we're at it.
No, definitely not. You and I both know Snake is going on this list.
Yeah.
In fact, Snake might be like 3.
I was gonna say like maybe 4 or 5, maybe 4.
Okay, so we've got Snake, Meta Knight, Sora, Pokemon Trainer, Kirby.
Yeah, you know what? Actually,
what?
I'm thinking. Are you okay putting Fox at 9? Fox or Marth at 9?
I'm fine with putting Fox and Marth at 8 and 9. I think
let's just do that.
Fox, because Fox kind of has a similar thing to Falcon, but not as like. But he's not also broken in Melee. Who do you think should go first? I'm gonna put Marth above Fox, if that's okay. Only because I think Marth is actually kind of more important because, like you said, he introduced like Fire Emblem, and he kind of was like. I feel all
of his lines were in Japanese. That's how much of a Japanese thing Marth was.
Yeah, and he kind of was like he's a good example of Smash Bros. Being able to introduce people to new games.
Yeah, that's
which
fair.
Is why I kind of want to get rid of Ness. Because I feel like Ness is kind of the same thing, but we'll keep him.
Earthbound was a bigger deal in the West than Fire Emblem was, so we can get rid of Ness. And let's get rid of King Dedede too while we're at it.
Okay.
And let's also get rid of Meta Knight as well.
But he did his best to break a game that sucked.
Okay, well, I got 3 people left. Well, given, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 9 people left, and we've gotten rid of some great picks from my end. It's like, no, I don't want to get rid of Pokemon Trainer. I don't want to get rid of Jigglypuff.
I'll get rid of Pokemon Trainer.
And
I'll
Jigglypuff.
Get rid of. All right, I'll get rid of Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
Should I get rid of Sheik too?
Arguably, not yet. We can get rid of Isabelle.
Okay. All right, so we've got 7 spots left, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 9. So I think we can just start filling in this list. I think that we should put Sora at 7.
Sure, sounds good.
Like I said, I think that he's like kind of just really, really shows that anybody can get into Smash.
Yeah. How do you feel about Bowser at number 5 or 6? Or how do you feel about Bowser at number 5, Ice Climbers at 6?
I kind of think Kirby deserves to be on the list more than Ice Climbers.
Yeah, Ice Climbers was one of those characters that when they first appeared, I was like, what the heck is this? And it was like they added in. Oh, yeah, we can get rid of Ice Climbers, put Kirby, and then Bowser at 5.
So you think Kirby? I think kind of Kirby should go above Bowser. Because Kirby is like. Kirby's the reason Sakurai's working on Smash Bros. In the first place. Yeah, and he's straight up the only actual protagonist of Smash Bros.
That's fair. And
Bowser's reason is just because he looked cool on Melee's cover.
Yeah, and then who else? So we've
got...
So maybe we'll do Ice Climbers or Sheik as 6, and then move Bowser and Kirby up 1.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, okay. Should we put Sheik or Ice Climbers? Which one do you think should?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
We'll put
Um,
Ice, or we'll put Sheik, just
you think
because.
Sheik above Ice
Yeah,
Climbers?
and we'll just get rid of Ice Climbers because Sheik they created 2 move lists,
Yeah. Whereas Ice
and that
Climber is
was
just like gimped if you get rid of one, and then Yoshi is also
yeah,
getting cut.
yeah. All right, so and then we're gonna put Solid Snake at 3 because he was the first person. Like he was the I
He
remember,
was the
yeah, the
first third
brawl.
party.
Yeah, and I remember Brawl. The trailer came, it was a big deal, and Snake was like the big part of that. Was like the whoa shit showtime.
What about Wario? We didn't bring him up
I
at all.
thought about putting Wario on the list. I thought about adding Wario on mine. Um. All right, Falcon versus Game and
Waluigi
Watch.
as an honorable mention.
Well, but all
Okay.
right,
I think that I can give it to Falcon
yeah,
number
just
one,
cause.
just being more iconic. If
Hmm.
you, and do you agree with Game and Watch at 2? Are you
I
like,
think
yeah, that's a good
no,
pick, or are you
I
like,
get
no?
it. I think so because like he was he was a completely different art style for a character. They did a really cool job with his move list. I get it. I just when I think of Smash, like Smash Bros had a trailer for 4, they announced 3 characters: Robin, Lucina, and Falcon. Robin and Lucina were new characters, but the focus of the trailer was Falcon.
Yeah, no, you're
and
you're right. He is
and
he is the
Falcon
epitome of, yeah.
and a lot of people wanted Chrom in that game. The reason Sakurai said Chrom wasn't in the game was because he said in that trailer, Captain Falcon punched Chrom out of the roster.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You know who we didn't talk about? We should have mentioned. Didn't Sephiroth murder Mario?
Yeah, but to be fair, Kazuya. No, it was Luigi, right? Or Luigi.
No,
Riley, I think
Riley killed
Luigi.
Luigi, and then Sephiroth killed
Sephiroth killed
Mario.
Mario. So the
Yeah,
ghost of Mario and Luigi.
yeah. Well, and I think the Sephiroth thing came out around the time that trailer came out when Nintendo announced they were like delisting that Mario
Yeah.
game, and so people were like, Mario's gonna die.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got our top 10. Number 10, Sonic and Tails from Melee. Fox, Marth, Sora, Sheik, Bowser at 5. 4 is Kirby, 3 is Solid Snake, 2 is Mr. Game and Watch, and 1 is Captain Falcon. And that is our top 10 Super Smash Brothers characters.
Yeah, that's that. That's a list.
That is quite the list. I'm
I
actually
I
pretty happy with it.
I don't know if happy is a word I would use.
I think it's a
It's
good
definitely
accurate I think it
it
is a good representation of Smash Bros. And what it
I
means to us.
I think that's fair. It's at this time, at this place, I think that this is the best list that could have been made.
It's not the list that we deserve, but it's the one we needed.
No, it's not the
Uh,
list we need, it's the list we deserve.
okay, fair enough. I think that's it. What have you been playing?
I've been playing way too much Street Fighter. I
It's cool.
actually no, it's not. I uninstalled it. I
Oh,
was
why?
playing. It was just like I was playing a lot, and I was like, so a couple reasons was I was getting salty. I was like, I keep teching the throws, but they're not coming out. And I just kind of also realized I was playing a lot of time with it. I was like, I could be spending this time playing Like a Dragon and like actually practicing my Japanese while playing it. So yeah, which I am getting more into Like a Dragon. I still don't know what's going on, but I'm having fun with it.
Nice,
Yeah, it's like my golden retriever game. Like I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
nice. Are you understanding it pretty well, or
I get the basic like plot, but I don't really like the way I describe most of the stuff I watch in Japanese is I understand the what's going on, I don't understand the why. So like
that's
I'll be like, "Oh, these two characters obviously hate each other. I don't know why, but
they
they
do
do." Or maybe I'll be like, "Oh, this they like I know why they hate each other, but I don't know like why he did that like
to
thing."
him?
So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So it'll
No,
be like, "Oh, I they hate each other because he stole like his girlfriend will like, oh, they hate each other because he said something douchey, but I don't know what he said that caused that reaction."
got it. Cool. Yeah, I've wanted
What
to get into the Yakuza series for a long time.
I
I just haven't.
so this is a thing, like, I was the same way, but now I'm just kinda like, "You know what? I don't think I need to play all of them." I think 7's just a good jumping on point because it's a new protagonist, and I think most, like, fans actually think he's a better protagonist than Kiryu, because it's
I've
like,
heard that.
yeah, because Kiryu was just cool, honorable Japanese gangster, whereas Ichiban actually has, like,
A
personality to
personality,
him.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly, like, the entire thing about it is, you know how it's like a turn-based RPG now?
yeah.
It's like, that's just kind of how he sees things,
Oh
like, when
yeah,
you fight.
I
Yeah.
did know that. Like if you use like an electric attack, he's just like hooking a car battery up to a dude and like
Oh,
stuff
well,
like that.
yeah, so, like, one of the so you know how all of, like, the jobs in the game are, like, actual jobs?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the jobs in the game is homeless,
Oh gosh.
and it's like that's the mage of the game, so one of his attacks is he, like, grabs a handful of, like, bird seeds and he throws them at his opponent, so then birds come and, like, peck him, and then another one of his attacks is, like, a fire-based one, so, like, yeah, he, like, puts, like, alcohol on his lips and then, like, lights a fire and then, like, yeah, like, spits at them or, like, uses it like a flamethrower.
That's kind of
So,
fair.
yeah, no, it's really interesting that, yeah, like, I just like how they're like, "Yeah, homeless is a job, and it's also, like, the magic class."
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I did hear also that Like a Dragon
Yeah.
is a good jumping on point, but I've heard Infinite Wealth is not as good a jumping on point because you've got to
Um,
kind of know about Like a Dragon and also what Kiryu's been up to. So.
yeah, I think that what a lot of people kind of say is, like, you can play 7 and then play The Man with No Name, or The Man Who Erased His Name, and then play 8,
Okay,
because The Man Who Erased His Name was actually supposed to be a prologue for 8, but they decided to just make it its own thing.
cool.
Yeah.
I did not realize that, but yeah, I'd like to get
Yeah.
into all of those at some point.
Mhm. Yeah.
I've been since we took a week off. I wrapped up Paranormasight last week. That is such a cool game. I really think if you like Ace Attorney, go check out Paranormasight. It's the ending gets a little wonky, but it also does a lot of really cool things with like structure in games and
Mhm.
how like you the player relate to games. So definitely, if you kind of like if you're looking for something a little different and you are fine with visual novels, definitely check out Paranormasight. Um, I won't say anything more because I really don't want to spoil it. I've been playing something that has an embargo, so I can't talk about it. Then I've been
Been playing
playing.
Deadlock? Is that what the game's called? The
I'm
Valve
playing.
MOBA?
I'm playing the Valve MOBA.
Oh, nice.
Um, what else am I playing? Still working my way through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I played that a little bit earlier today. God, that is such a cool game. It sounds like it would be awful with how many side content, like side quests, not side
Mhm.
quests, but just like mini games and things. But they're all just like so much fun. Like
Well, I
you could just pull all the mini games out and just make a Mario Party, and it would be great.
well, I feel like that's kind of what a lot of gamers want these days is they want side content because that's now, like, the big thing is a lot of gamers feel like they're cutting content, so, yeah, I feel like that's kind of, like, what a lot of
But this isn't just like a side quest that you beat up a boss. This is like there's just straight up a um God, what Rocket League mini game where you play as
Mhm.
Red 13.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, and you just have to. There's like four teams, and you just have to knock soccer
Yeah.
balls into goals. And then there's like,
Yeah.
just there's like a dolphin riding mini game, and then there's like the piano. Like there is just it's not even just like side quests. It is
Mhm.
just like games. Like there's one where you're a frog and you have to jump over
Yeah.
these spinning beams to stay on this platform. And if you like when I was reading the reviews, I was really scared that this would not appeal to me because I
Mhm.
usually don't like that stuff. But all of them are so fun and they're all
Yeah.
like just hard enough where you have to play them a couple times to get like the top score, but
Mhm.
not so like impossible that you're spending hours doing it. So
Yeah.
it's such a good game. I'm on chapter. I just wrapped up 6, so
Hmm.
I'm close to like halfway.
Oh, cool.
Um, and then I picked up Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and I've been putting a lot of time into that. and I really like it. It's wordier than I expected. And it starts off pretty slow, but I'm now on chapter 2 and I'm really liking it. And I think the thing that surprised me the most is that every female in this game is like thirsty for Mario, which is weird.
What?
Yeah. Like there's a character who's just straight up like a phantom thief mouse, and she's just a mouse with like a mask, and she's just like has the hots for Mario, and then one of your party members joins your party just because, yeah, she's like, oh, you're hot, I don't like the idea of people messing with you, so I'll protect you.
All right, that's cool.
Like Mario has been kissed in this game more times than I've seen any character kissed in any other game.
That's all right. That's pretty interesting,
isn't it? I was like, I did not expect this, and it's funny because it's like it's not like all the characters who are attracted to Mario are just like weird, like Goomba looking things. Like it's not like they're like these like seductive, like suggestive characters.
Yeah,
they're just like it's the weirdest thing, but it's also like kind of hilarious.
Yeah. Well, that's alrighty then.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either, but I thought that was pretty good. All right, Noah, what are you plugging?
All right, Simon. So,
oh, no.
The year is 1977. The New York Yankees are going against the Dodgers in the World Series. It's a tough battle, but after all's said and done, the Yankees win. Cut forward. 1 year later, it is the 75th World Series, or 75th anniversary of the World Series. The year is 1978, and after a hard-fought season, both the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Yankees are once again going at it at this rematch. It remains the most recent World Series to feature a rematch between the previous season's matchup. So it's head-to-head, two of the greatest at their greatest at the 1978 World Series. Go ahead, go check it out. It's a good time. I'm not going to tell you who wins, but it's a good game.
Did you watch the game?
I don't really see how that's relevant to it.
So it could actually be just like a garbage game where one team just smokes the other, and that's what you want to plug.
I mean, it was tied with the 1980 World Series for the highest overall television rating, so I mean, that's pretty good.
Well, that's because it was 1978. What else are you going to do?
You could watch the MASH.
Oh, no. Because it probably wasn't on because the World Series was on.
Yeah, but I mean, you could. It was 1978. There was lots of things you could do in 1978. You could go to the library. You could You could. What was another thing you could do in 1978?
I'm playing us out.
You could go to a movie theater. You could go see what films were in 1978. 1978. Oh, you could see Halloween. Or Jaws 2.
Thank you to Pecan Pie on Upbeat for our intro and outro songs. Thank you to Zach Robinson for our logo. If you like this, please follow and or subscribe and consider leaving a rating and review so more people can find us. You can find other episodes of this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. If you want to send us email, you can do so at gamedisc.podcast@gmail.com, and we'll read it on the air. You can send us questions, suggestions, or anything you want. If you want to see more of me, you can go to startmenu.co.uk and read 2 of the pieces I have up there. And I should have a 3rd one going up sometime soonish. And with that, we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye. Could have say National Lampoon's Animal House. Or Superman, the movie.
Dude, I just peed my pants.
I didn't mean to stop the outro. I thought I'd play at the same time. I'll skip to the head.
Man, what a real big crazy mess we're going through. Unlike the 1978 World Series that was a clean victory by almost spoiled who won.